Good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine Carter. I'd like to call the July 19th, 2022 Board of Commissioners work session, business meeting to order. With that, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, our Administrative Assistant, Deanna, will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Deanna. Will you do the roll call, please?
Catherine Carter, Vice President.
Present.
Martha Similaro, Commissioner.
Here.
Liz McNaney, Commissioner.
Here.
Ruth Damsker, Commissioner.
Here.
Sandra Zadell, Township Manager.
I'm here.
Megan Weaver, Assistant Township Manager.
Here.
Lauren Gallagher, Township Solicitor.
Here.
Nicholas Cross, Township Engineer.
Here.
David Duffy, Chief of Police. Here. Nathan Crittenden, Finance Director. Here. And it is noted that Denise Hall and Van Rieger are absent this evening.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to our recognition of John Brickman for 25 years of service to the township. Chief Duffy.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, Sergeant Brickman couldn't be here tonight, but just a couple comments about his 25 years. In the very beginning of his career, he was a traffic safety officer in the township, and then more recently, for many years, he's been our domestic violence response team advocate. He keeps in touch with Laurel House and other advocacy groups that we work with regularly regarding domestic violence victims. He's our field training officer supervisor, supervises the whole FDO program, which at times can be very busy. And
That's what I was wondering.
for 2 years was served as a detective sergeant. He's also one of our first public information officers, a position that we have grown in the department to now 5 people because of stuff going on all the time. Oh, and now. He's a great guy. Let me just say that on the record now. A position we've grown in the department because we have so much activity. So we appreciate Sergeant Brinkman's 25 years and look forward to some more.
Thank you, Chief Duffy.
Thank you.
Lauren, we have executive sessions.
Yes, the board did meet in executive session earlier this evening to discuss various items of personnel.
Next, we have the public comments. Again, thank you for respecting the 5-minute rule and practicing decorum. Again, this section is for you to make public comments. It is not a question and answer section. If you have a pressing question that you would like to pose, if you notice in our registry form, there is now space for an email and cell number. If you pose a question during this section, we'll write it down and reach out to you as soon as possible with an answer, as we want to make sure that it's correct and complete. Let's begin our public comment section with Carl Smith.
Good evening, Carl Smith, 815 McIntosh Way. Following up from Mr. Van Rieker's presentation the last meeting, he gave us a lot of details. Some of the details he talked about, I'd like some clarification on, but I'm not sure in the format now that's newly adopted what we're going to get from this board. So I'll throw it out to you. And you can, I guess, answer it if you decide to. And if not, I guess we'll understand what this new term of transparency is that you folks talk frequently about. So in his talk, he mentioned that he's reviewed a lot of details with the Plan Review Committee. So my question is, who's on the Plan Review Committee? I assume, Ruth, you're part of that because you oversee the Planning Commission. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
So do you attend these meetings and are you privy to this information? How does this process work behind the scenes that we don't see?
Right. Well, I do attend the meetings and I represent, I'm the liaison
Right.
for the zoning board as well as for the planning commission. So I attend and then I report back to my colleagues. So this way, all of us have various different liaisons for different
Right.
committees. And then we report back to our colleagues of what was discussed and what we feel that needs to, be resolved, or if there's issues or problems or concerns.
So it would be accurate to say that you are a conduit of information to the board from the planning committee and then back to the commission? Are you involved? So they're separate entities, the commission and the committee, if I
Well,
understand.
they're volunteers. They're volunteers.
Commission is,
The commission are volunteers, correct.
but the committee's made up of who? That's, I guess,
Well, they're made up of citizens and residents who have show interest in participating in the various different aspects of local government.
oh, so they're one and the same. The committee and the commission are one and the same?
I think I'm going to help clarify this.
Okay.
So the Planning Commission is what Commissioner Damsker is talking about. The PRC is our Plan Review Committee. That is handled before things go to the board. It's all of our professional staff, so our engineer, our solicitor, township manager, planning director, assistant township manager. I don't think there's anyone I'm forgetting. Wastewater engineer attend those meetings, and applicants can come in and talk to us about.
So they
get
kind of
feed- it's a
blend.
Other towns call it a professional staff meeting that I've worked in, but this town calls it a PRC.
Well, thanks for that, clarifying that. So I guess the question to you, Ruth, if you're willing to answer, is you've heard more details than we heard last meeting from Mr. Van Ricker about, he was clear that this development for Pembroke Station is being considered for high density, income restricted housing. He made that clear. And to some people, that's concerning. I'd like to get your opinion on what you think about that.
Well, that's something that the board has to discuss and make a decision. We have not voted on anything on it yet.
And
So it's
Mr.
not
Smith,
immediately.
They advise us and make recommendations, and then it's up to the board to make the final decisions.
And Mr. Smith, I'm going to again reiterate that that matter is not in front of the board yet. It will be publicly advertised for public hearing.
Fine, I'm going to
And-
ask my
no,
question
let me
anyway.
finish.
You folks have been saying that this is
Sir,
nothing
you
to
have to
worry
let me
about.
finish.
It
It is inappropriate and premature for the board to comment on the proposal that's not yet in front of them.
So it's not immediately offensive to any of you, like it is to some of the citizens, apparently. So I guess that's my point. It's immediately offensive that this is being considered, but to the board, not necessarily. But I'll move on. Another question, I guess it's related to this, is when do we expect to see this zoning change presented to the Planning Commission at the local level and into the county, or has it already been presented?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah.
It has not been presented to the Planning
yeah.
Commission yet. I don't have a date for you because I'm not sure where we are in the process. We're still reviewing the draft, so.
But it is
there's no-
eminent.
I'm sorry?
But it is eminent.
I'm not even sure if I could say eminent. It's in the review process.
All right, final question. Has the board or the planning commission received a draft of a zoning ordinance change from the Walters Group or any other developer for this track?
Planning Commission?
Well, no, anybody, the entities that would make decisions. Have you received a draft to change the ordinance? Because it's a change of use that you're considering. So I'm asking, has any developer or the Walters Group specifically, have they come to you with a draft in hand saying, here's how it can be done?
The Walters Group submitted an application for a change of zoning.
With a
They presented
legal
a
draft?
draft to Van Reeker, and he is considering the draft and reviewing it as our planning consultant.
All right, well, thank you for that. That's all I have.
Linda Smith.
Hi, Linda Smith, 815 McIntosh Way. Some of these questions refer back to last week's meeting. Van had mentioned about a half a mile. He used that half a mile type of distance when it came to high-density housing being a half a mile from Pembroke Station. So he also used the term effective public transportation. So if it's Pembroke Station, does it also include North Wales train station? Developing the high-density housing a half a mile from that? Or, does it include bus routes? I mean, if it's true, then it could create an alarming volume of construction on high-density housing, and most residents would not approve of it. Again, 97% are happy with our township as it is now, and that would totally change our township. Another question, are you considering this urbanization as a result of a curative amendment application? I mean, the developer found a deficiency in the zoning code? Something illegal?
This is not a curative amendment application. This is simply an application for a zoning amendment.
Okay, and can we get a copy of the text amendment?
I believe that you have to submit a right to know request, but we can review that. I believe that it's subject to disclosure, but I'd have to review it.
Okay, good. On another subject, the Human Relations Commission, I've noticed that they're getting involved in some upcoming public events, like the Carnival, the Holiday Lights, the Fall Fest. I'm just curious what role they're playing in these events. I mean, in the past, traditionally, it's been a non-political event, and this seems like it would politicize it. Or are they just looking for something to do?
The HRC at all of these events is information only. Right now, they're in the process, and I'm speaking because I'm the liaison with the HRC, and right now, they're in the process of just letting the community know who they are and what they're available to do. So they're using these venues to get the message out. Because it is an open public meeting when they come to the HRC, but the public is not attending. So we told them about different venues that they might be able to come out. Last year, they were at the Fall Fest, and they were at the Winter Carnival, and they just had tables out, just giving information for the community to know who they are, the members.
Okay.
They put, right now, they're putting information out on like Facebook and the newsletter to introduce themselves, who they are, where they come from, and things like that. So that's all they're doing right now, and mostly it's just for them to get the message out that they are there and that they're there to help.
Okay, so they're just setting up a table and people can go by
Right.
and, so
They're-
any, like, the Upper Gwynedd Republican Committee can also set up a table there as well, and if you make a request for that?
The Upper Gwynedd Republican Committee is not a commission created by the Board of Commissioners, so it's a little different. The HRC is a commission that's authorized via ordinance of the township. They're similar to like our Planning Commission, our UGCA, which is our fundraising arm, our EAC. They all come to township events because they're internal to our organization and they're not a political organization. But the Republican Committee, I think, always comes to Fall Fest, which is a place where we allow vendors. So any activity that allows vendors, the Republican Committee could
So
come
the
to.
Fall Fest is the only place that,
That allows vendors?
yeah,
Trying to think if we've had any other, wherever the Fall Fest is where we allow that right now. I don't want to say definitively we've ever had vendors at something else. I don't know for sure.
so not the Carnival or,
The Carnival, we've had the EAC, and we have vendors at the, like, that sell, food and stuff like that.
okay, so,
There's not like information kiosks.
okay. All right, thank you.
Next, we have Fred Hankin.
Fred Hinkin, 802 Clover Drive. Catherine, do you have any concerns about what effect these urbanization and high-density housing will have on the police and our first responders?
I'm not at liberty to discuss it because
So
it's
if
not
we
up to the
grow the-
board yet. It hasn't been presented to the
Talking
board yet.
Just the process itself of if this does get approved, are you concerned about that as the commissioner who oversees the police and the first responders is my
Mr.
question.
Hankin, that would be a question that'd be more appropriately answered at the public hearing when and if this ordinance is considered.
Fair enough. And I just wanted to follow up with Sandra. She was kind of taking an email from me regarding versioning of the minutes. As that, I mean, you're doing versioning now because I suggested that before and you're doing it, which is great. Have you made any progress on, what I'm referring to is that we get 3 or 4 different versions. This is just for everyone's clarification. We get different versions email to us, here's a change, but we don't know what the changes are. There's just different versions.
Yeah, for example, this evening, we had to change the meeting. The Zoom information was incorrectly posted.
Okay.
We did a news post, and it was bolded and highlighted.
Okay,
I'm
great.
not sure if that's exactly what you were looking for, but we are
Well,
talking about it.
the point is so
Oh,
we.
yeah, go ahead, Deanna.
Oh, thank you.
The last version that was posted, it said volume 2 at the bottom, and what was changed.
Okay, great. Thank you. I probably didn't notice that.
Take your
but-
email into consideration as we would with any resolution.
And I appreciate your answering that. Thank you.
Next, we'll have Tom Borneman.
Tom Borneman, 722 Green Street. At the last meeting, I stated that I'm extremely concerned that this Board of Commissioners is attempting to bring your National Democrat Party agenda to our township. Here's an action plan issued by the Biden White House to reward local jurisdictions that have reformed zoning and land use policies with federal grant money. I believe this is a policy to urbanize the suburbs. Your own survey that is part of your own 2040 comprehensive plan on page 32 reads, 97% of township residents who responded stated that they would rate the township as an excellent or good place to live. Neighborhood character is the #1 township characteristic that drew people to locate in the township. It is my understanding that Upper Gwynedd Township is 90 to 95% built out. As I have stated before, a huge majority of township residents do not, I repeat, do not want what you're attempting to bring to this township.
Thank you. Is there anyone who did not sign in that would like to make a comment? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
William Jackson, 664 Park Road.
6'4".
664, yep. I wanted to come and speak in support of the resolution tonight for the funding application for the Power Line Trail segment. I think it's great for kids being able to walk and ride to school. It's great for their physical health as well as reducing traffic in the township. We've seen major congestion around parents picking up and dropping off kids at both Gwynedd and Pembroke, so it will incrementally start to reduce some of that, I'm hopeful for. It's also great that the community and the kids there at the Gwynedd Club Apartments will have direct access to that trail, and hopefully someday the greater trail segments as it gets linked up. And I'm also hopeful that this is the beginning of a greater power line trail that will build out some of the plans that we've discussed in other meetings before this committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for those comments, because we've been working very hard with PICO, getting those 6 miles that, and they have finally agreed to work with us. And I think we're the last township that they're going to do this for. So, I mean, we've been working behind the scenes trying to get their approval and hopefully some funding and grant money. And so I'm very excited about that too. Thank you.
That ends our public comment section. Now we're up to number 8 on our agenda, a public hearing ordinance. The purpose of this hearing is to hear a comment pursuant to the consideration of ordinance, amending the Code of Upper Gwynedd Township, Chapter 195, zoning, as Section 10.2, Sumneytown Pike Infill and Traffic Management Overlay District. Ms. Gallagher?
Thank you. This would be ordinance 2022-02. As we referenced last week, previously the board had created a district, an overlay district entitled the Sumneytown Pike Infill and Traffic Management Overlay District. That district, however, does not contain any properties within it. So in speaking to the township's planner, it was advised that this district should be repealed if the intent is not to include any properties within it. So this is a fairly straightforward ordinance that repeals that district. The exhibits for this, the file on this will be T1 is ordinance 2022-02. T2 will be the proof of publication of legal advertisement. This ran on June 28th and July 5th. T3 is the Upper Gwynedd Township Planning Commission Review Letter, and T4 is the Montgomery County Planning Commission Review Letter.
Excuse me, is there any public comment? Any questions, any public comment? That closes our public hearing. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 2022-02, repeal of the Sumneytown Pike infill and traffic management overlay district?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second. Is there any board comment? All in favor?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Now we're on to, up to agenda item number 12, Finance, Personnel Administration. Do we have a motion to approve consent items A through I?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any board comments?
I have one. On, Megan, could you hit Parks and Rec on there? I want to point something out. Thank you. If you can scroll down to, just want to put it out there that we offer discounted tickets to a bunch of different activities, different parks and museums and stuff. I think we got to keep going. Hope it's on there. No? Yes, there it is. Just so that you could see, we do offer this program, as I said, of discounted tickets to different experiences for township residents. Saving a couple dollars here and there is always a good thing. So I wanted to point that out to everybody, that we have these, and take advantage of them. If you dare to go to the Crayola experience, way past that one in my in my life. But the aquarium, there's lots of places to go and enjoy with the family. And some are indoors where it would be nice and cool for this next coming week. So I just wanted to point that one out. Thank you, Megan.
Also, don't forget the North Wales Library also has those tickets and things for all of our residents to sign out. I've used the one for the Franklin Institute and for the Elmwood Zoo. Do we have any public comments?
Yes.
Deanna, can you do a roll call, please?
Vice President Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Do we have a motion to approve the township manager to execute an agreement with Gov HR for a non-uniform comprehensive salary study? Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Do you have any public comments? Again, please state your name and address.
Linda Smith, 815 McIntosh Way. I have a question about, are we still a member of the Southeastern Pennsylvania Consortium of Municipalities?
Sandra?
We're a member of the Montgomery County Consortium of Municipalities, yes.
Okay, because they do an annual salary and benefit survey.
Yep,
That
we're well
won't
aware. We
cost us,
participate.
I'm understanding this is $9,000?
Correct. The issue with the consortium salary study, which, I mean, it's great, it's like self-reporting, so a lot of towns don't load their data into it's a system where we can log in and download. I've searched for many of our positions and found nothing comparative, or it'll be old data, because each town has a deadline to load their information. Sometimes we can't utilize that information.
Okay, thank you.
Believe me, I've tried.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Next, we have a motion to approve the 63-month lease agreement with Key Business Solutions for postage meter services in the amount of $130 per month. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do you have a second? We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Do you have any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. On to public safety. Do we have a motion to approve the advertisement of Ordinance 2022-04, drug paraphernalia? We have a motion.
So moved.
You have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Do you have any public comments? Chief Duffy, you have anything to add? Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Damsker.
Yes, and I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 22-2022, granting the waiver of land development for Merck and Company, and that is about a boiler. It's an addition of boiler 11, subject to the conditions set forth in this resolution.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any board comments? Do you have any public comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And then number 16 is a motion to approve the amendment of the Declaration of Covenants and Restrictions for the MCIU/Acts dated August 19, 1988, to include education purposes and facilities as set forth in the proposed draft amendment. And I don't know whether you would like to, Lauren, if you would like to make any comments.
Certainly, Commissioner Damsker. As the board can see in this amendment to the restrictive covenant, currently, educational uses of any kind are not permitted per this covenant. So this would amend the covenant to allow for educational purposes, uses as educational purposes, including institutional headquarters for educational, professional, religious, and other nonprofit organizations. However, it would specifically agreed that the site will not be used as a public, private, or parochial elementary school, middle school, junior high school, college, university, theological school, or other secondary school, or other adult or child daycare. On that list, I would also recommend that the motion be amended to add in preschool, but that there is language in here that would allow for the educational support and social service support for children, which would include elementary and secondary school students, but it would not be used as a school.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
And just to clarify, the motion and second would include the amendment to include the preschool.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren.
And the applicant's attorney is here if there are any questions for him.
Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments?
Dan Wallace, 848 Girard Avenue. I urge you to pass this amendment. I've been in favor of the rezoning of the project since day one, and I think it's a good use for the township and for the IU. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next, I'll turn it over to Commissioner McNaney, Public Works, Parks, and Recreation.
Okay, first on the agenda, number 17, is a motion to approve Resolution 20-2022, Phases 3 and 4 of the Street Light Procurement Program. We were at the workshop meeting, we were given a presentation. We were asked some additional questions by some residents who called or followed up with us after the meeting.
And they were asking, one about the noise, and Sandra, you addressed that. And what was the other? There was noise, the one that I read.
Where the light was located.
Noise and the location of the lights and the warmth, with the switch, we all know when you look at holiday lights, the difference between like the LED lights and the old-fashioned lights. But luckily, LED lights have come a long way since those holiday lights were invented. And we're not at the point with this procurement process yet where we select the warmth for the township, but we will be trying to select a warmth that matches the neighborhood character that we currently have and matches our neighborhood areas. Commissioner McNeely, sorry, I got a lot of questions about these, so I just want to make sure.
I know. So did I.
Also, there were questions about if any neighboring towns have gone
was
through
gonna get
this
into that.
program. Oh, okay, well, go ahead then, yeah.
So if you want to see what these lights could look like, I guess, depending on the light dimness or whatnot, everybody in North Penn has it. And Hatfield Borough does not, but Hatfield Township, they do. And I saw them just the other night in Lower Gwynedd. They have the lights as well. And you can see a difference. So I'm glad that we're joining the rest of the North Penn area and our surrounding communities. So with that, I make a motion to approve Resolution 20-2022, Phases 3 and 4 for the streetlight program.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Next on the agenda, number 18, is a motion to approve Resolution 24-2022, the rejection of the Tioga Fuels bid and disqualification as a bidder based on deficiencies reported by the 10 contracted communities. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 24-2022.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously.
Next on the agenda, item number 19, is a motion to approve Resolution 23-2022, requesting grant funding from Dced for the Pembroke Middle School and Norwen Elementary Safe Routes to School Trail. Mr. Jackson, I appreciate your comments with that. Megan, can you click that on real quick, just so, in case everybody didn't get a chance to look at the proposed map? My question that I had earlier that I asked Sandra was, why can't the kids go down, is it Dickerson? Go down Dickerson and just walk down in front of the apartments there, the apartments, and then cross where the crossing guard is. And then I was told, because this way it's more of a trail, it's for bikes, it's an easy walk for the kids through the, go to the next page too. There's Pembroke at the top right. And then it crosses over near the Norwen fields, baseball fields. Let's see. So you can follow it there. So it crosses over the ball fields there, then we'll cross over to Norwen. I think kids would like to walk that route, and hopefully, as Mr. Jackson suggested, that this will help with some of the traffic at dismissal and arrival times with that. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2023 requesting grant funding from DCED for this project.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Do we have any board comments?
I have a comment, even though I'm not on the board, just to further expand on what Commissioner McNeely said. Additionally, this is the first section of the power line trail that we're looking to build. So while it does go near the schools, it's not just exclusively for student use, it's for anyone's use. And the next section of the trail that goes from Gwynedd through the Del Val property, that section will connect the township to the 202 Parkway Trail. So it's a really important connection, and I think more than just, I just want to point out there's more than just the use of connecting the schools. It's the first of many trails, hopefully.
We have any public comments? Please state your name and address.
Thanks. I couldn't really see them. I'm sorry, Fred Hinkin, 802 Clover Drive. Does this require another crossing guard, or is this going to go the way that you were saying toward the condominiums?
It doesn't require another crossing guard because it's not actually like the approved route to go to, the middle school. I'm sure at the location, I'm not sure if you can see it, there's a bike sign and a pedestrian crossing sign. We're going to have to add a pedestrian crosswalk to get across the road. But you could take an alternate route if you didn't want to cross where there isn't a crossing guard and go down to where the crossing
I
guard
guess
is.
my question is, what if kids were crossing and there was no crossing guard? I'm thinking.
And they would be urged to go down just a little further.
I'm
to where
thinking
the
of public safety, that's all.
Yeah.
I'm just making.
Fred, I had the same question about that because I remember in North Wales,
Yes.
Upper Gwynedd worked together by St. Rose to make those sidewalks.
Absolutely.
And then and Sandra explained to me just what she said, is that it's not just for the school kids. It will be for anybody to.
I was
use
talking
that
more
path.
during school hours when
Yeah.
you would expect a high volume of children to go through. That's what my question was.
That was my concern as well, but I think,
I think it's a legitimate concern is what I'm saying.
yeah. I think that if there, you know what, Fred, I don't know. I thought the same thing,
I think
but
Chief Duffy could help
Yeah,
answer
I was
this
just gonna
question.
say.
Sorry, Chief, you love when I
Thank you.
pull you up with a.
Chief, I know you sit there a lot on that, right near that area. Do you think during school time with the flashing 15 in the mornings and at the end of the school day, that crosswalk would be an issue, or?
No, it's sufficient. We only place our crossing guards at key points where we really need them, and that area is not a particular concern of mine. I sit there during the school year almost every day,
Yeah, I know.
so I can tell you it's okay.
Thank you.
And I figured it would be because I know a lot of work and a lot of research and everything went into it. But Fred, thanks for pointing that out too, because I thought the same.
Road's very, very busy, as we know.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So did I make the motion to approve?
Yes, we were on public comments.
Public comment, okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Number 20 is a motion to approve the advertisement for the bid for the Newport Lane Basin Retrofit project.
We have,
So I'd like to make that motion to approve the advertisement.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next is a motion to advertise ordinance 2022-05, updating the stormwater management language for the MS4 program. This is an important one that we make sure we're updated and up to date because it deals with the DEP and other organizations. So I'd like to make a motion to advertise the ordinance.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And lastly, a motion to approve the bid award to KBC Construction LLC for the Dickerson Road Drainage Improvement Project for the base bid in the amount of $359,670 and the alternate bid for $11,150. This was discussed by our engineer at the workshop meeting, and there was a lot of community involvement and a lot went into this project as well. I know we have to have a roll call vote, but I'll make a motion to approve the bid award.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments? Hearing none. Deanna, will you complete a roll call?
Vice President Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Simularo, you don't have anything on the agenda?
Everything's working great at the wastewater treatment plant.
Do we have a motion to approve the July 2022 open invoices? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments?
I just wanted to, I asked some questions tonight, and am I going to get some answers about the half mile and some of those other issues?
Yes, as I stated at the beginning, Deanna takes very good notes, and we'll make sure that Van or Sandra gets back to you as quickly as possible. Yes. Deanna, did you get all her questions? Yes. We have a motion, and we have a second. Do we have any board comments? And a public comment? Hearing none. Deanna, can you please complete the roll call?
Vice President Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney,
Aye.
Commissioner Simularo, Commissioner Damsker,
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Do we have a motion to approve the July 2022 paid invoices? You have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments? Hearing none. Deanna, again, can you please complete the roll call?
Vice President Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney,
Aye.
Commissioner Simularo,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. That ends our public meeting. Thank you to everyone for coming out tonight. Does anyone on the board have anything else for tonight? With that being said, this meeting is adjourned.